some international news. New Zealand may be getting a new name. Yes. Yeah, Maori politicians have launched a campaign to restore one of the country's original names, Aotearoa, right? Yeah, and I think we can all be honest, like, they didn't put a lot of thought into naming it New Zealand in the first place. Yeah, colonizers were so late. This is New Zealand, there's New England, New York, zero effort. It's like Pete Davidson calling his next girlfriend New Kim. Terrible. It's not going to work. Meanwhile, in health news, officials in New York say that hundreds of people in the state may be infected with polio because so many people are unvaccinated. Yeah. So I guess New York is back in the 1950s. And you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't care anymore. Yeah, I don't. Polio, you want to come for me? Come. Yeah, you're gonna have to fight for space in my body with COVID and monkeypox. Just going on. Just go at it. Just go at it hard. Oh, and in politics, according to a new book about the Trump White House, President Trump complained that his national security team wasn't loyal enough to him, saying, quote, "Why can't you be like the German generals in World War II?" Yeah, that's right. Fox News was out there every day like, these liberals are so over the top, always comparing Trump to Hitler. Meanwhile, Trump was going, why won't people treat me more like Hitler? Why not? Why not? And it actually got even more alarming than that. Later in the same meeting, he told his generals to find the Ark of the Covenant before Indiana Jones got his hands on it. No, I'm joking, but that's not even the real story. So this is the crazy part. After Trump went off about how his generals should be as loyal as Hitler's were, General Kelly's response to him was, you do know that they tried to kill Hitler 3 times and almost pulled it off. And I don't know why, but I feel like that information didn't change Trump's opinion of the German generals. Like knowing Trump, he was probably like, those losers tried to kill Hitler 3 times and they choked like a dog. Like a dog. Couldn't get it done. You know who was able to kill Hitler in the first try? Hitler. It's called leadership, people. Leadership. But anyway, let's move on to some of the bigger news stories of the day. Starting off with President Joe Biden, who had himself one hell of a weekend. First of all, he finally tested negative again for COVID and was allowed to leave quarantine for the first time in 18 days. Yeah, so he's back and as good as new, or whatever he was when he went in. And 18 days is a long time in quarantine, but I'm sure he'll get right back into the swing of things, you know? Because, yeah, being president is a lot like, you know, riding a bike. Oh, Joe, don't do it! Don't do it! So, the good news for Biden is that he's out of quarantine. And even more good news for Biden is that he's now in the history books.
The historic vote in the Senate.
Major victory tonight for the Democrats and for our planet.
This morning, Democrats triumphant.
Every member of my caucus is elated about what happened because we've changed the world in a way that you rarely get an opportunity to do that.
Passing a sweeping climate, healthcare, and economic package after 22 straight hours of dusk to dawn work over the weekend. Vice President Kamala Harris casting the tie-breaking vote for Democrats to pass the bill, which boasts climate spending and billions in energy investments. Also reducing prices of prescription drugs by letting Medicare negotiate directly with pharmaceutical companies.
A major legislative victory for Democrats in Congress and for the Biden White House. Suddenly, he is one of the most consequential legislative presidents since LBJ in his first 2 years in office.
Yeah, don't look now, people, but all of a sudden, Sleepy Joe has himself a pretty fat stack of accomplishments. Yeah, in just the past few weeks, he'll have done lower prescription drug prices, the biggest investment in green energy ever, healthcare for veterans exposed to burn pits, investment in computer chip production, and he kept the leader of Al-Qaeda while he was sunbathing. Think about it. This is insane. You realize what this means? If he keeps this up, his approval rating is going to shoot all the way up to like 39%. And he did all of this with COVID. I bet right now the White House doctors are trying to figure out how to give COVID back to the president again. Come on, guys. If we get him infected, maybe he'll end the war in Ukraine. And by the way, I know this is weird, but have you noticed that Joe Biden seems to be the most successful whenever he disappears. No, I know it's weird, but like during the campaign, right? He went and he hid in the basement, and nobody saw him for months. Everyone was like, "Where's Joe Biden? Where's Joe Biden?" And then out of nowhere, they announced that he was the president. Yeah? Remember, he even came out on election night and was just like, "Wait, really? Okay, yeah, I guess." What? Me? Then now, gas prices crazy, Congress stuck, inflation wild. Joe Biden gets COVID, disappears into the basement again. And then when he comes out, they tell him that not only is he still the president, he is now one of the greatest presidents in the history of presidents. Gas prices went down, Congress is getting things done, the Choco Taco is coming back from the dead. So I don't know what's in that basement, but whatever it is, it's working. In fact, I want that basement to be president, basement 2024. And by the way, it's not like this bill was easy for Biden to get. Remember that. Because it's a 50-50 Senate, right? The Democrats can't afford to lose a single vote. So first, they spent a year convincing Joe Manchin to get on board. And he was like, "Look, I'll back your climate change stuff, but only if you let me squeeze baby seals to see if there's oil inside." And the Democrats were like, "Sure, yeah, whatever." But then at the last minute, they had to convince Kirsten Sinema. And she was like, "Okay, I'll sign on, but only if you let me squeeze hedge fund managers to see if there's campaign donations inside." And I guess it worked. So let's move on. Because no matter what you think about Joe Biden's accomplishments, we can all agree that he stole the election in 2020. Yeah, it was a landslide victory for Donald Trump, but sneaky Joe Biden hacked into the matrix and turned all the voting machines black. No one denies this. And on January 6th, a group of patriots tried to explain all of this to Mike Pence's neck, but instead of listening, the US government has been throwing them in jail. And they've been locked away in those cold cells ever since with only their fur hats to keep them warm. So over the weekend, conservatives gathered in Texas, all right, to raise awareness for just how badly the January 6th rioters are being treated. And the way they did this was they held a very special tribute that is very moving and not at all hilarious.
The insurrection fallout is front and center at CPAC. This year's most buzzed about booth is this, a fake jail cell. What you're watching actually happened at CPAC. It features a convicted January 6th rioter doing performance art in a cage wearing an orange jumpsuit.
Visitors were offered headsets so they could listen to interviews with jailed January 6th defendants while watching the actor weep. Some viewers wept along with him. Others threw money into the cage. Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Greene entered the cell to pray with him.
Okay, wait. Okay, just wait. Help me understand the logic here. Marjorie Taylor Greene is praying for a fake prisoner? No, this is a real thing. She's like, seriously, who is this lady? Like, America, you understand, this is a person who's actually part of running your country. She's in there mourning with a fake, praying for, like, how does she function in the world? It's a fake person. She must have the hardest time at Broadway shows. They killed Hamilton! I mean, I guess in her defense, this actor in the lobby of the CPAC convention hall really committed to the role. Because apparently, he spent hours in that jail cell weeping the whole time, just weeping. Which in a way is a powerful performance art, because isn't that what conservatism has turned to in America, right? It's just people in MAGA hats acting like they're victims. There's fewer white people now than there used to be, but we still have all the power. By the way, the part that made me laugh the hardest was how people were throwing money into the cage. Like, what is that? Is this like the only way they know how to interact with art is the same way they interact with strippers, you know? Just like, your freedom has been stolen from you. Shake that ass. Just shake that ass. Now, you would think a story like this couldn't get any crazier. But truly, the best part of the story is this actor who played the defendant was an actual rioter on January 6th, who reportedly avoided a prison sentence by snitching on the other rioters. Yeah. So just so you understand, this dude is pretending to be a prisoner that he helped send to prison. Which is insane. You snitched on your fellow rioters. They go to jail, and now you're out in the streets crying like, man, I wish there was something I could have done to stop them from going to jail. I wish there's something I could have done. This is wild. All right, let's move on to some major news out of the entertainment world. There is no denying that there are far too many streaming services out there these days, people. It's just too much. There's Hulu, there's Netflix, there's Prime Video, Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Especially when Paramount Plus gives you everything that you need in one place. There's Champions League, there's RuPaul's Drag Race, there's The Daily Show, there's South Park, there's Star Trek, The Daily Show, Beavis and Butthead, and of course The Daily Show. What else do you need? So yes, there are way too many services, but luckily, soon, there's going to be one less.
Soon, you'll get a 2-for-1 deal on streaming. HBO Max and Discovery Plus will merge next year. Subscribers will have various options between HBO's scripted entertainment and Discovery's reality-based programming.
It comes as HBO Max struggles with performance and customer issues. The CEO of Warner Brothers says Discovery Plus has better technology and will become the core of the new service.
No, this is enough. How many times is HBO going to change its name, huh? It was HBO Go, and then it was HBO Now, and it's HBO Max. Like, at this point, I feel like they're just messing with us. Next month, they're going to be like, our new name is HBO Bitch Ass Says What? What? Ha 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 ha. So yeah, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and HBO are merging everything into one giant company. I know that's going to be weird, but I, for one, cannot wait to see how all of these biggest shows combine.
Coming up on House Hunters Westeros, Jerry is looking for a bigger space in King's Landing for his growing family.
Okay, first of all, a sword chair? What is this? Like 1527, guys? Let's switch that. Let's just switch that whole thing up, Let's put in a cute ottoman, knock down some of these walls, yeah? Switch out the blood with a fresh coat of paint. Yeah, we gotta do that. Oh, we gotta fix the thermostat. That's way too hot, way too hot.
And also on the new HBO Discovery, stay tuned for the premiere of our new series, 90 Day Succession.
To fundamentally alter the nature of the family on my wedding day? You have any conception of how goddamn selfish you are?
Lady, I just want a green card, huh? All right, that's it for the headlines. But before we go to a quick break, let's check in on the stock market with our finance expert, Michael Costa, everybody. This is wild, Michael. Mergers, people coming together. What is happening in the market today?
I am crushing it. I mean, I am crushing it so hard.
You always are, man.
Yeah, you're crushing it too. You're crushing it, and you're an excellent boss. You know.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
And I'm loyal to you, Trevor. Unlike those Trump generals. You're my Hitler, Trevor. I'm serious. When you look at Trevor Noah, I want you to think of Adolf Hitler, okay?
I don't think that's doing what you think it is. I appreciate it. Let's just go.
I got a hot tip for you.
Yeah,
I got a hot tip for you. Make some money, like I make some money. I got a hot tip for you. Pay attention. So behind me right here, this is the Warner Brothers stock after the streaming merger between HBO Max and Discovery Plus. And what you want to pay attention to here, okay? Actually, just for a second, that story about President Biden. Wow, he's just accomplishing so much, crushing it with COVID, right? Apparently you can get a lot done with COVID. I mean, for me, I'm crushing this segment, and I've got COVID too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. I have polio. But let's get back to the chart. As a financial expert, I'm here to offer this. Mergers are tricky, all right? What's the most dangerous part of driving, right? Merging. I can't tell you how many times I've just plowed into people, right? What's the worst part of a birthday party? Merging separate groups of friends, work friends, college friends. Both groups have stories you don't want the other side to know about. Business merging is no different, okay? Mergers, Trevor, they're a lot like relationships, right? At first, it's two single companies just having fun, and you're like, hey, maybe we should have fun together, you know? Combine our assets, like a marriage. In fact, that's why it's called a merger, because merge sounds so much like marriage. Okay? But next thing you know, after the merge, the arguing starts. Are we HBO Discovery? Are we Discovery HBO? How many subsidiaries are we going to have? Because I want one, but she wants 3. Where are we going to spend the holidays? Why does Discovery Plus keep my best friend, okay? And then that's when this happens, Trevor.
Michael, I think you're getting off track.
Okay.
Can you just give us the hot tip, please?
Right. Okay. Hot tip. Oh, yeah. You should get tested for polio. Honestly, I think I have it. So.
Well, thank you so much for that. Michael Costa, everybody.